Do people hire healthcare professionals on LinkedIn?
So if I was putting myself in the shoes of a recruiter, I'd want to know if it's up.
So if a healthcare professional was starting from zero, okay, on LinkedIn, they have no idea about this platform. What should they fix first on their profile?
Things that make someone remember you.
Is there a place for influencers on LinkedIn? If yes, how?
To stand out, if you're going to write something in your experience about a particular role,
Do you know how to use LinkedIn? Do you know what are the essential components of your LinkedIn profile? Do you know what your profile pic should look like? Do you know what your banner should look like? And do you update your LinkedIn profile regularly? What type of content do you post? If you're looking for answers of all these questions, then this is the podcast that you require. I want to share something with you. 83% of the viewers for this channel haven't subscribed yet. So can I please ask a favor? Please subscribe to this channel. It takes a fraction of a second. It's free to you. But then my commitment to you will be that I will bring you the best guests on physio leadership, and we will truly inspire the future generation of physios. I will read every single comment of yours and your feedback, and I will try everything in my power to help you grow. So please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Welcome to Priya Physio Podcast, where we shine light on brave, bold, and brilliant physios who are redefining leadership on their own terms. This podcast focuses on physios who have taken a non traditional career path to become who they are today. Today's guest is a physiotherapist who is also the LinkedIn physio. As you've guessed with the name itself, he is an expert who helps healthcare professionals optimize their LinkedIn profiles so they can be found online. They can leverage their profile for job hunt, and he helps businesses get more reach. Hello, Andy. Thanks a lot for accepting the invite for to come on Priya Physio podcast as the LinkedIn physio. Can we dive in a little bit more about your early career when you were a physiotherapist and how you started?
okay. So yes, hi Priya. Thank you so much for inviting me on, first of all. So yeah, my career, and I didn't become a physio or start my physio degree until I was just about to turn 30. So I'd worked all over the place in customer services, handling complaints, football coaching for kids, all sorts of things with no real kind of, this is what I've always wanted to do. It never really looked like that. So I'm now going back a bit further back, but I met my now wife, Gina. She's
Mhm.
a dental surgeon. My mother-in-law was a retired occupational therapist, so I kind of got directed towards this healthcare industry. I wasn't going to copy my mother-in-law. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction. So we ended up down the physio route. So yeah, I started my degree 15 years ago. So jumping ahead, following that, I started on my junior rotations in the NHS at the Mid Yorkshire NHS Trust, but eventually found my home in community physio. After going through ICU, MSK gym, that respiratory, that kind of thing. But community was where I felt I could make the biggest impact. I like getting involved in helping people in crisis when they're struggling at home, making sure, trying to keep them out of hospital, helping them when they've discharged from hospital after injury, illness, and getting them back to a decent quality of life that they want. So that's where I felt I was at home. But something that I always had an interest in was showing that sort of stuff off to people to show actually this we're making huge differences to people's lives here. The satisfaction of that kind of career, and I wanted to find a way to express that. So at the time, this is, when was it now? Around 2018, I started up a very small Twitter account when it was called Twitter for the Mid Yorks Trust. It was all quite new to them that they let me kind of run with it, which showed a nice level of trust from the beginning. And it was all about highlighting positivity, staff engagement, getting people involved, showing that this is a great place to work, that this is a great career to have. And and really kind of shining a spotlight on community, which doesn't get a lot of glamour, unfortunately. You don't really hear about it that much, but the things that go on in the background were going unnoticed in a way. So I wanted to show that off. So I started up a little Twitter account. It's around the time AHPs Day came into effect. I think the 2018 there. So I spoke to people who were organising that. I put out a very innocent little post of our staff crossing a road. It made a very simple idea, just crossing a road, all with different piece of equipment to the tune of "Come Together." I think it got about 15,000 views. It was for the hashtag for AHPs Day. It came above NHS England at the time. Well, so viral in its own terms when we only had about 300 followers on the account, and I was like, oh, I like this. So, I really wanted to kind of do more and more with it. I then moved trusts as I just did a promotion, moving up to senior physio, but so I moved to the Leeds Community NHS Trust. Um, I didn't get involved as involved as I quite have liked to there. I was still trying, but it wasn't quite going where I wanted with regards to Twitter. And then Twitter just kind of changed. It flipped, and now it's full of a lot of shall we say political posts that
Mm.
just makes me want to close the app and not see it again. And I don't think I could have the same sort of influence or that I maybe had before.
Mhm.
And then, of course, fast forward in pandemic, working on the front line throughout that. The stresses that come with NHS working as I progressed to physiotherapy lead for West Leeds neighbourhood teams, but there was still just this kind of burning idea of how do I promote the world of healthcare, not just community, but just how do we show off our profession? How do we attract people to into this role when jobs are hard to come by? Why is that? Why are there not enough roles around,
Mhm.
out there for graduates or But at that point, I kind of wanted to get out of healthcare, so I did. I got out of it. I left. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew I had a passion for writing, so I started out as learning the craft of copywriting, and
Mhm.
I wrote for Jamaican restaurants, horse riding, accountancy, whatever it might be, just to learn the craft and learn how to write and be persuasive with words to hopefully encourage people to take the audience to take an action.
Mhm.
What I found was my credibility still remained in healthcare and physiotherapy. And for people to get to know me, I started leveraging that as a means to bring in business. So I moved back to healthcare, and I seem to be because I joined LinkedIn and started to use it, and I was getting some traction with it, which is nice.
Mhm.
People were looking at it and thinking, if you can do that, can you do that for me? Okay. So I started working with, just one or two businesses, individuals, and helping them stand out on LinkedIn and, showing them how to write, how to update their profiles. And I started really enjoying that. So my next pivot was to move towards LinkedIn and how I can help, again, healthcare professionals stand out online using LinkedIn, the world's
Mhm.
biggest professional networking platform. And
Of course.
that's how it's kind of moved through the gears. And now here I am as the LinkedIn physio I've come up with, and trying to help people stand out online, and whether that's for, I don't know, clinics looking at recruiting,
Mhm.
students finding work, any AHP finding work, how to show up online because you will do. People will search for you, and LinkedIn's perfect for it.
Perfect. Thank you. That's an incredible story, Andy. And if I have to think about and somebody who's listening to us right now,
Mm,
it's so important to understand Andy's journey. If you're somebody who is having that idea of I want to do something else alongside being a physio, then you don't actually have to switch your role immediately. What you have to do is see if you can do something with it, see what traction you're getting, see how far you can get yourself, see what you can learn because you're not going to be an expert on day one. That's exactly what Andy did here, where he started the Twitter account, and the way he was getting traction, he realized that he definitely has something there where people are getting attracted to. And then he started helping out. Okay, that's one. Then next thing he said about the copywriting, because your post is getting traction. Is it getting traction because what you're writing? And I think that's exactly where it came from, Andy, where people liked what you wrote on that post. And that then moved you into copywriting, where you started being persuasive and you started using the power of your words. So if you're somebody thinking right now, I want to do something, but I'm not sure how to start, listen to us, listen to this podcast. till the end. Okay, sit with a pen and paper because that's how you're going to learn. And that's why we are doing this podcast. The main aim for us to do this podcast is to help healthcare professionals maximize their LinkedIn profile and get to the best of what they can offer. We feel our mission will be accomplished. Okay. So let's move on, Andy, from everything that you've shared with us, that quite honestly and openly. So thanks a lot for that.
It's okay.
So if a healthcare professional was starting from zero, okay, on LinkedIn, they
Mm.
have no idea about this platform, what should they fix first on their profile?
It would always be the profile. The
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn profile, and even just the top of the profile before anyone even, if they land on it before they even scroll, these are the first things you want to fix because you could have a blank profile, but you'd be on LinkedIn. You've got your name, no headline, it can be completely blank. If you were to look on your feed, comment on something, like something, even just engage with someone else's content, and you're very interesting and you've made an excellent point, and people want to learn more about you, what they will do is click on your profile. So but you won't want them to land on your profile if your profile is empty because people scroll away very quickly, they'll disappear. So
Mm.
the profile has to be the place like your landing page about
Mm.
you. It's all about you, but what you do to help other people. That's where the reader's going to land. So that's where I'd say.
Now, when you say people can have blank LinkedIn profiles,
Mhm.
now definitely you don't want someone to visit a blank LinkedIn profile. You definitely want people to look at your profile and it should look interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And most people usually, now I've started learning, I'm a leadership coach myself, and I've started realizing that most people usually have their profiles on, but either they don't update it regularly, or the mandatory aspects of a profile, like your banner image, your own profile image, that itself talks a lot about you as a person. And most people leave it blank. So let's talk about the banner. What is
Okay.
a banner? And why should somebody focus on that one big rectangle that you see at the top of the page?
Okay. Yeah, and yes, you're right. The banner is so underutilized, particularly in the healthcare industry. Whether you're a lone practitioner or a clinic, or when they do use it, it's remember think back to when Facebook maybe and your cover photos and you put something a beautiful image. It might be a pic for me. It might be a picture of the Yorkshire Dales or somewhere I've been for a run. It looks beautiful. Oh, it looks nice. It's great.
Mhm.
But what does that tell you? It doesn't really tell a story about who you are and what you do and how, because people are selfish. If they're going onto your profile, they want to know how you can help them.
Mhm.
A picture of something like the Dales is lovely, but you're missing a massive opportunity. So I appreciate that not every practitioner will have a business, but I do. So for example, I want my logo on there. I've got a bit of a tagline that says that you can become a go-to in the healthcare industry using LinkedIn. I've got my another picture of me for familiarity. So because people are very visual, when they click on your profile, after they've seen a bit of your headline and your profile photo, there's the banner. It's front and center of your profile before you've even scrolled. So they will see it every time they click on you, every
Mm.
time. So I have a message on there about who I am, what I do, who for. So I do one-to-one training, one-to-one and group training for LinkedIn, help you stand out online. And importantly, I also have a call to action, how to take the next step. And I ask them to send me a DM so we can start the conversation about how I can help them show up on LinkedIn. So think of it as a billboard as such. Those showstoppers. I always, as a copywriter, I'm obsessed with looking at words when I'm driving around or walking around. At bus stops, and you see pictures, taglines telling you what to do next, offers, whatever it might be, things that make someone remember you. And treat your banner like that. Show
Mm.
someone what you do, how you help them, and how to get in touch to find out more about you. Because then, if they haven't scrolled on, at least they know within the first few seconds what you do.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you. Do people hire healthcare professionals on LinkedIn?
100% yes.
Okay.
All of that about healthcare, yes. From a recruitment point of view, if you are LinkedIn is trusted by Google. If you were to put Andy Goldman into Google, you will find my LinkedIn account in the top three. Alongside my website, unfortunately, alongside something from Futurama, there's a character on there that I just can't shake. He's an underground mutant. For some reason, that shows up between my website and my LinkedIn profile. But hey, I've got competition. But I do this with clients or when I have discovery calls with them. I just tell them, put your name into Google And nearly every time your name will show up as with your LinkedIn profile on the first page of Google. And it's a really interesting experiment. And then I just do it to see if people show up. And as I said, more often than not, they show up there. So it's really important because recruiters, I think they will look for you online. It's natural, particularly in the private world. They
Mm,
want if they're recruiting someone into their own, solo business. There might be a solo business, might be hiring their first physio. They want to know who's going to work for them. They need to trust that person. They want to know more about them. So if they find your name online, click on and if the LinkedIn profile shows up, they'll click on there, and then there's no information. They might very easily just go no, and it'll be like nope, 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 nope until they find someone that catches their eye.
mm,
And they're more likely. This is the same with my copywriting background. It's being persuasive enough to make them read the next line or scroll to the next part and read the next bit and the next bit until they go, I'm hooked. I want to speak to you because you
mhm.
might be the person to solve my problem. And that's what it's about. It's about showing. It's about if someone clicks on you, that they know what you do, who you help. See, there's a recurring theme here to put yourself in the shop window to make the most of any opportunity that comes your way. LinkedIn, you will be found quite easily on there if you show up.
Amazing. Thank you. Now, with what you've just shared, that LinkedIn profile is really important. If someone only has 10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
what can they do on LinkedIn to make sure that recruiters or people who are getting attracted to you as a thought leader or to network with you stay on your profile?
So this is assuming you've got your profile ready and up to date. That still has to be the
Of
starting
course.
point.
Yes.
But once that's done, the hard work is done. That's what I help people to do is to get their profiles ready and up to date. We then move on to this 10 minutes a day. Yes, it's your time's precious. It really is. If you're in clinic all day and you get a few minutes to scroll, what are you going to do with that 10 minutes? It's commenting on other posts, but don't just open the home feed and scroll the first five posts you see and comment on those. As nice as that is, it's nice to engage. It might be something interesting or not. You're just doing it because you've got limited time and that's all you have. Find people that you are enjoying, that you like learning from, and you can bookmark those people, or you can go onto their profile and click their bell at the top right of their bio, so you get a notification of when they post. So when you open your phone or on your desktop, go into your notifications and you'll see that your favorite, I'm going to call them creators because they are, that they've posted. Go to those and comment on those, engage with those. It might be a particular company that you're looking to get known to because you're looking for, you like their culture, their brand that you think might be somewhere you could see yourself working in the future. So be selective about who you want to engage with if you've only got 10 minutes. When you comment, only you will see this, but you will see over time how you get impressions now on your comments. Some of my comments get more views than or impressions than my posts. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's very well worth commenting because if you put out if you were to write a piece of content, which is still absolutely relevant, you're not guaranteed to get replies. If you comment on someone else's, there's a good chance they'll reply to you because they've created the content, and they're looking for the engagement. So you've almost got an almost nailed on conversation straight away because if someone's asked a question and you're replying to it, the conversation's already begun.
Mm.
So I would put more emphasis on comments than content in the first instance.
Okay.
Get into the comments of people that you find relevant to you that might help you because you've got to be selfish about it, of course, because you want to, it's for your gain overall. For them to then go, I like the sound of you. I want to look at your profile, and that's why I come back to the profile again.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. And I'm sure this was like a golden nugget. Andy, thank you.
It is because if you're going to spend that if you've only got 10 minutes at a time, make the most of it because
Mm,
otherwise it's a waste. And like you've just said it there about not the likes, the validation. Yes, it does. Numbers are great. It's our dopamine hit, isn't it? Getting
mm-hmm.
numbers, engagement impressions, we all feel better for it. But then it works the other way as well, like you say. If you don't get that response, that engagement, you think, why am I doing this? And you give up very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm,
there's more than one way to have a conversation.
of
Um,
course.
so you want, as I say, bring people into your network by speaking to them and as I say, engage almost strategically.
Mm,
And there's different ways you can get people to look at your content. We're going into a deeper dive here. I'll be quick. is who is your audience? Who are you actually connected with and who's following you? Are they the right people to be that you want to speak to? Well, I started out as with copywriting, so I've got a lot of copywriters in my network. They're not going to buy from me. I've now brought AHPs into my network and people working in the healthcare industry. These are the people I want to speak to. But I've got a bit of a mix now. So I've got it's so you've got to write for the audience that you've got within your following, because if they're not interested in not buying from you, you won't get that engagement, and the LinkedIn algorithm won't know where to share it because it will look at who you've got and say, well, that doesn't make sense to go there. It's looking at where to send it.
Mm.
So by
Mm.
engaging with people, perhaps on their posts, that increases the chances of then them seeing your content, an exchange of a DM as well. Try something. If you have a DM exchange with one of your connections, refresh your feed a few times that day, and I bet if I've had a conversation with you today, Priya, if I on DMs, when I next refresh my screen, there's a good chance you'll be at the top of my feed because we've had a DM conversation.
Hmm.
So you can almost direct it. No one knows the algorithm. But we know bits of it. And then, so DMs are a very good one as well. So I bet you keep appearing at the top of my screen at the moment because we've had conversations in DMs. So
Okay.
you're in charge of it. Don't let the algorithm define what you do because you'll never win.
Hmm. Mm.
Control what you can control.
Yeah, and when you just said DMs, I've
Mm.
seen a lot of people who get in touch with me. This is my personal experience. They would start chatting with me as though I'm their friend, and it's a WhatsApp message. So it's like hi, and there is nothing else around it, or hello. There's nothing around it, and I just think, right, this is a professional platform. You're looking for, there is something that you want from Priya.
Yeah.
And if you really want something from Priya, why not use it as a proper, like mini version of email? Tell who you are, what you do,
Yeah.
and give me a little bit of context of why you're approaching me and how I can help you. One message, that's it. I don't have time to say hi back to you, and then you send another, how are you? And then I say, I'm fine. This is how
Yeah.
people are using LinkedIn. What would you suggest to those people who are
I,
still?
I might talk about a post that I've seen them write, and that's what's attracted me to connect with them. And I might say, I saw your post the other day. It really helped me with this, this, and this. Um, and maybe end with a question of what do you struggle with most? What's the biggest problem you're trying to solve on LinkedIn at the moment? And all
Hmm.
of a straight away, I've got a conversation going.
Hmm.
Whereas a hi or a thanks for connecting, it doesn't go anywhere. And as I've said with clinicians, we're treating patients. We're not sat on LinkedIn all day, not like me. So yeah, be a bit more to the point. Don't be salesy. Don't be pitching straight away, but start that conversation. Try and understand what it is that they need help with, because you might be the person to solve that problem.
Yeah, just so without sounding salesy or desperate, you can still introduce yourself as a human to another human. That's how I
Yeah.
would say to everyone who is using LinkedIn as a platform to connect with other professionals. Remember, it's a professional platform. Nowadays, LinkedIn is full of AI generated posts. What do you have to say about that as the expert?
Okay. Yes, it is. Hopefully, I'm a bit of a blueprint for that because I've said before, I don't use AI other than for idea prompts, maybe, or to try and understand what problem I want to solve for my target audience. But I wouldn't ask it to write a post and then I just post it. Sometimes it's quite obvious when people do it because the format seems pretty similar with the same types of emojis, the same format, the big groups of hashtags at the end of posts. Hashtags are almost defunct now. They're not going to help you. So if I see a big group of hashtags at the end of a post, it already makes me think that they've used AI to produce this post. Now, I do get that people may rely on it in some way, in that if we're conversing in English, and English might not be our first language, that we need some way to make a connection with our audience. But I wouldn't just and also the posts are only as good as the prompts you put into it as well. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
depends how good are you at prompting. It may be that you do that because you need the speed. Again, it is time saving, but make it your own. Once you've done that, if I do that, if I find a post actually I do actually like the sound of that, I will then make it my own because I think I've been on LinkedIn long enough, and I hope people would spot it a mile off if I didn't write as me. So I would say it's a tool to use, but it's not the final piece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's certainly opened my eyes. I was very much against it when I first started, but I think it is becoming more and more part of our lives, but it's how we use it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that would be my advice. But make it your own. Make it sound like you, because no robot or network will sound like you. You only you sound like you.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Hashtags. And does LinkedIn not work on hashtags then? Does it not give you that reach that you're looking for when you hashtag something?
No, they're becoming less and less useful.
Mm-hmm.
And the advice, I mean, because LinkedIn changes frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Before, the advice would say no more than 3 to 5 hashtags. But because they're not really being, no one, is anyone searching for hashtags now? They've become a bit of a, they don't work anymore. They're not going to help you with reach. What LinkedIn might do is penalize you for using hashtags because it looks like spam.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I think, is different with that. I don't know enough about Instagram, by the way, but LinkedIn, from the from the learning that I have with LinkedIn, the people I chat with, experts in the industry, hashtags will not help you. If anything, they will go against you because
Mm-hmm.
one, no one's searching for them. Two, LinkedIn will think it's spammy and it will reduce your reach.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
just don't use them. I use one
So
because
it's okay not to use hashtags at all in posts.
absolutely, absolutely. I only use one because, but not because I want people to search for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
because it's showing my physiotherapy background, and that I use the hashtag "Hello, my name is." So
Mm-hmm.
the old NHS hashtag for helping, introduce, identify that you're a member of staff and so on. So it's just to show that I'm aware of the industry. It's an addition to what I do and who I am, and what my USP is of being a physio, selling this service. I am selling this service, but it's showing that I have an understanding, and my background is from NHS. It's from private as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have that, leave that hashtag there, but it's not to search for me. It's just to a nod to my background. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all I use it for.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. LinkedIn is a platform where most recruiters will look for the ideal candidates. And we've also seen that private providers, private clinics in the UK rely heavily on LinkedIn for their ideal candidates and hiring. How should people look at NHS job applications and private job applications and at the same time think of LinkedIn as an additional platform for job applications?
Yeah, I think from an NHS point of view, as I said, yeah, as you said, it's their own platform, NHS Jobs. The applications are anonymized,
Mhm.
so I shouldn't be able to look for someone's LinkedIn profile within an
Of
NHS
course.
job application, because
Mhm.
I was as physio lead, I was recruiting into our service. I wouldn't know who it was that was applying. I don't have their name, but I'm not saying I did this, but there's no stopping someone, once you know who that person is, to go and see what they're doing online, because it's, whether it's the NHS or whether it's private, it's that business on the putting themselves out there and putting trust in somebody. So there's nothing to stop someone, if you, because your profile is public,
Mhm.
for someone to go and have a look if they know who you are and want to know more about you. But it isn't, but that wouldn't be part of the NHS application process. In private world, um, I would say absolutely they're looking to see what you're doing online, because if you're coming into someone's baby, someone's business, they want to know who they're going to have potentially working for them. And it's really important because what, if they go on to then hire that person might then want to put that company within their experience section and attribute themselves to the company page. They might want to talk about the company,
Mhm.
to improve visibility, to improve the brand, show, increase reach and that kind of thing. So you've got to be absolutely sure who you're hiring.
Mhm.
And I think that would be part of the process. It would be looking at your social profiles. It's really important to know if there's anything, skeletons in the closet, and you want to avoid controversy. And it's a professional platform. Can this person also help me show off my business? So
Mm.
it's an opportunity for both parties. So it's in their best interest to see what people are doing online,
Mhm.
I feel.
Okay. Mhm. Mhm. And what do recruiters notice immediately on somebody's profile?
So if I was putting myself in the shoes of a recruiter, I'd want to know if it's up. I'd want to look if it's up to date, because if it's not up to date, then the information I don't know is, well, I won't know if it's correct. I want to see an up to date profile.
Mhm.
As I say, when you go onto it, the profiles are most important for me. If I land on it, if I'm a recruiter landing on a profile, I'll see your photo, your banner,
Mhm.
your headline as the first things that I will see.
Mhm.
I want to be convinced to read on to find out more about you. So I want to see them. I want to see if the things are up to date, because it shows that they're meticulous. It shows that they're keen to show off what they've got. and that the attention to detail. But that may be just me, but I will click in things like their contact info and see if there's an up-to-date email address.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, some people might have joined LinkedIn years and years ago and then not touched it since. So if I want to learn something about someone, then LinkedIn, I've straight away I've discarded it because there's no point me looking at it any further if it's not up to date.
Mm-hmm.
To give yourself the best opportunity, having that ready, it's your as much as LinkedIn is no longer just a digital CV,
Mm-hmm.
it's telling the story about you. That first question you asked me, if you read through my LinkedIn profile from top to bottom and some of my posts, you'd learn that about me as well. If you really wanted to spend the time and go and comb through it. But if you were hiring me, you'd be looking at all this stuff. So I'd make sure it's up to date because it's only going to be advantageous to you
Mm.
to get found and to be shown that you care and that it shows how you've helped people in the past. What is it that you that question, what do you think you can bring to our business?
Mm.
Half the information is already there on LinkedIn. They could know all about you before they've even spoken to you. So it's so important.
Mm. Mm. And I think rightly you call yourself the LinkedIn physio. To all
Yes.
the viewers, if you're listening to us, I have put Andy's details in the description below. So
Thank you.
please go and reach out to Andy, even if you just have a curious, if you just want to ask him, okay, what do you do? How can you help me? For someone who knows LinkedIn so much, I'm sure he will at least give you one tip that you might not be aware of. Okay, so please go ahead and contact Andy and see how he can help you. So, with regards to profile, you said if someone comes to your profile, they will look at your photo, your banner, and your headline.
Mm.
I will touch on something else that I have noticed experience. I
Okay.
have seen lots of physios who share, who request connections and everything. I go on their profiles, and all I see is they've mentioned their past role, dates, and company they've worked at. That's it.
Okay.
And I am always the one who says, you've got to show off what you have done at a particular company. If there are two physios working in the same company at the same level, what you do will be different from what somebody else will do. Unless you write your experience, your CV is not complete and it's a digital CV.
Yes.
And if
It,
recruiters are likely to visit, they are going to look at that as well because it gives, apart from your 1.5 to 2 pages standard resume that you send, this is your additional information section where recruiters might land on and they'll know more about you. So, how do you think physios can use it to their benefit?
so yes, you're right. There is space to write within
Mm,
the each experience that you have in in your roles to write about what to write about your role. Now, I will say that a lot I see people who do fill it in and it turns into almost like a job spec.
mm-hmm,
That doesn't
mm-hmm,
necessarily help me because job specs for physiotherapy, I'm being very general now, that it tends
mm-hmm,
to be pretty similar that we do this to this to this to achieve this. And it all sounds very similar. To stand out, if you're going to write something in your experience about a particular role, say what you learned and how you helped the service. Rather than saying what your key responsibilities were, give me the outcomes. Tell me a little story about it. Tell me what you did to make this happen and
mm-hmm,
what benefit that had to you and your patient or your service. That's the thing that stands out because that's what people don't write about enough on any LinkedIn profile. They write it all about them and their key responsibilities, and it sounds very almost wooden in a way.
mm-hmm.
But that human side we talk about,
Yes.
show how you've helped humans. Show you how you've helped that service improve and what the result was of doing that. Those are the bits that will make you stand out.
Excellent.
But I would also say you don't have to, for every experience you don't have to put every experience you've had in your past. As I say, at the beginning, I talked about when I worked in customer services, in banking and football coaching. I might not put those on my experience because they're not relevant to what I'm doing now,
Mm-hmm,
really. They're just words. And when you write in these sections, as with anything across your profile on LinkedIn, your comments, I'm relating this now back to SEO, search engine optimization. If I wrote a big piece about my football coaching from when I was 18 years old, how I help children in small-sided games improve their skills, I don't want to get found for that online. I want to get found for LinkedIn training. So
mm-hmm,
I don't necessarily want to talk about all that because I don't want Google to think that I'm doing that and confuse everything. So
mm-hmm,
I've narrowed mine down to the most relevant jobs
Mm.
and the skills that I've used to produce certain outcomes. And that's what I want to be found for. How I've problem solved and how I've done this to do this and how I've moved my business to this. I want them to understand that story, not my what I was doing 20 years ago, which
Hmm.
had nothing to do with what I do now. So that's another key point to make.
Perfect. Thank you. And then coming back to what you said, don't include what is not relevant.
Mm.
Okay?
You wouldn't
Because
do it, or you wouldn't do it on your CV. Well, you shouldn't, but
no, no, people do that. People
I'm
still
sure
do
they
that. Because I'm a
do.
career coach, and the amount
Yeah.
of CVs I see,
Yeah.
we call it resumes. It's not a CV, but
Mhm. Okay.
resumes. But then they would put anything and everything that they've done, whether
Yeah.
it's relevant or not. Forget experience in trainings where it says relevant trainings and CPD courses. You will see any training that they have done, whether it matches for the profile, job profile you've applied for. So I've seen all sorts of resumes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And it's the same with LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Keep it relevant because people scroll very quickly online. You can do that. If you've only got a certain amount of time you're going to spend on LinkedIn, you don't want to be reading irrelevant things, otherwise you will just move on. You have a few
Hmm.
seconds to make that impression, to convince someone to scroll. And if they're going to scroll, make it relevant. Make it relevant to what they're looking for, and they'll stay on
Hmm.
your page and then reach out.
Hmm. Thank you. Let's talk about influencers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Influencers. We see a lot of them on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Is there a place for influencers on LinkedIn? If yes, how?
Okay. It depends what you were, how, what do you mean by influencer? Because I might have to make that more specific.
It's the likes, views, comments that matter and shares
Okay.
and reshares.
So are you looking at big numbers? Is that what we,
Mm-hmm.
it depends what you would see as an influencer. How would you describe an influencer?
Mm-hmm.
I might get, I don't know, on average about 30, probably up to 100 engagements on a post. I don't know, does that make me an influencer? I see, I would describe an influencer. If I, like you said earlier, if we get 10 people to look at this, I feel like we've influenced someone to take an action. If you're looking at an influencer by means of numbers don't pay the bills. It's the old adage, isn't it? It doesn't, if nothing comes of it, I could write a post, it might go viral, but I could be talking about, I don't know, the price of coffee going up or whatever it might be. But if that's not going to get me business, then the numbers don't really mean anything.
Mm.
On the flip side, numbers also look good for reputation.
Mm.
So if I've got over 8,000 followers now, but I've gained that over a period of time. People might look at that and think, okay, he's doing well on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I'm getting any business from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends how you view influences, how you view numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You can still make a success of LinkedIn with a small following and
Mm.
small engagement, because as long as you're writing or commenting that's relevant to what you're trying to achieve and relevant to the audience you're trying to attract, LinkedIn is now prioritizing relevance over reach. I think everyone's noticed their reach has gone down. Their impressions have gone down by over 50%. Mine have. But the algorithm is now wanting to. This is why it's important to say what you do and how you help someone. So LinkedIn knows where to share it because relevance is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can influence your target audience to take that action, then I would say that you're working well as an influencer,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the classic sense of thousands and thousands of likes and reposts, because
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean you've got the business.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think definitely that's how other platforms work, where
Mm.
you get paid for your views, your likes, your comments, your
Yeah.
reshares, and all of that. So as far as LinkedIn is concerned, it's more
Mm.
about relevance, not about your likes and the numbers as
Mm.
such. Is that what you're
It
saying?
depends what your goals are with LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
If some like to use it maybe for thought leadership and to be known for that and to share,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. If that's your goal, my goal is to get business. I want to make money because I need to live. I need
Mm-hmm.
money coming into the household, like most of us do. So likes and high engagement doesn't necessarily do that for me. I have to be a lot more targeted. I reach out to the people who I think will be my ideal client or customer. So I aim my words at those people rather than something generic that might bring in lots and lots of likes. I might do a little post now and again that goes a bit off track because it's just a bit of a personal brand. I like to share things
Mm-hmm.
about my running, my daughter taking over my business. She's 12. She likes to think she's in charge. So I talk about things like that because I want people to get to know me. But the main point of my posts And the goal of it, of LinkedIn, is to get people to hire me to help them do the same thing, to stand out online and take the opportunities that come their way and get recognized.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So I think, and that's where our point and discussion was going with AI generated posts. What type of content can people post on LinkedIn?
So the quick answer is you can post anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no restriction. You can talk about what you know. It's people say this isn't Facebook. You'll get a lot of that on LinkedIn if someone posts about their dinner or whatever it might be. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to post about that, it's totally up to you. It's your account. Just bear in mind that it's public. The
Mm-hmm.
whole world can see it if they want to. I will bring it back to being a professional platform that if links is just a nice thing to have and a hobby, then you can do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a goal in mind of what you want to achieve, whether it's looking for a new role, if it's recruiting into your clinic, whatever that might be, then you need to have a think about your content and type of content you want to put out there. So making what it is you've got sound attractive enough so that someone joins that conversation and is
Mm-hmm.
interested in you for what it is you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
I know that's yeah, that would have to go into knowing why you're on LinkedIn and who your audience is and what you want to do with it to then determine what content you want to revolve around. So I'll give you my example. Like if I choose what I call content pillars or subjects that I talk about to get people to know me, as I talk about LinkedIn and I give practical LinkedIn tips and I use my company page to back that up. Practical LinkedIn tips for for standing out on LinkedIn. I also talk about moving from full-time physiotherapy to what I do now, all the successes, the failures, how I got around it. So if I can help someone get there a bit quicker than I did, then hopefully I'm doing some good. So I talk about running a business, and and I do treat mine as a professional diary, a critical study almost of what I've done since I left the NHS. But I also do include some personal posts as well. As I'd say, I talk about my daughter being, thinking
Mm-hmm.
is in charge or but I always turn it back into some sort of business lesson. So everything still comes back to this is what I do and this is who I help. But the ratios of I would probably want to do at least 50% of my LinkedIn posts about LinkedIn and how it helps people, and intersperse the other two around it because that's my personal brand, if I want to call it that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Andy, if someone wants to get your help,
Mm.
okay, what should they know? How can you help them? About what services do you offer?
Okay, so I offer one-to-one training sessions,
Mm-hmm.
usually over Zoom because of location. But if someone's, if they're near to me, I live near Leeds. There's scope for me traveling to them, to their clinic or wherever it might be to do face-to-face training.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that recently in Manchester with a group which was really nice. We did a bit of a workshop. So yes, I do. So one-to-ones usually online, and but come to it knowing what you want to do with your LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So we got an idea of what sort of training I want to provide for you. It usually does start with the profiles because that's the thing that needs updating the
Mm-hmm.
most out of everybody, pretty much everybody I see. I've also open to collaborations. So I've worked with say healthcare clinic coaches as an example, where they might have a membership group or private membership group of
Mm-hmm.
clinic owners. So I've gone in and done sessions for their groups, and then on the back of that, people might then hire me on a one-to-one basis following that. So yeah, there's a number of ways I can work, and it's not I tailor it to what people want.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
one-to-one groups or a collaboration of some kind where I work alongside someone else and present to their group.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you talk about your services, especially with the private clinics and business owners, do you handle their LinkedIn account or do you suggest and guide them what kind of posts they should be focusing on?
Suggest and guide, and keep my hand in clinically. I wouldn't have the time to write everyone's content for them,
Mm-hmm.
but I do sometimes receive ad hoc posts from clients. Say, can you have a look at this? Is there any way I can write this better? So they might hire me on an ad hoc basis
Mm-hmm.
as like that consultancy to see if I can help them improve the format, improve the reach, make it more engaging. So it's more from an advice point of view. I have helped with writing in the past,
Mm-hmm.
coaching on LinkedIn.
Okay. And you talked about your discovery call. Is there a charge to that, or is it something that people can just book in and they can come and speak to you?
So the discovery call, I've actually taken that down recently because
Okay.
what I would rather do is someone contact me through the DMs, and if so they can understand more about what I do, and if they want to have a conversation, a chat with me, a discovery call from there, I will drop them a link to my calendar in the
Mm-hmm.
DMs.
Mm-hmm.
That
Okay.
that's the way I'm working at the moment. I'm always tinkering with the way I work things, what's most successful for me. So I'd rather do it on their own terms. Send me a DM. It's easy to drop a DM and then walk away and then think about it and wait and have a look at my reply and decide what to do. So I will send them a
Mm-hmm.
link to my calendar should they wish to have a quick chat with me beforehand, and that's absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm. If you're a clinic owner or a business owner, and if you want Andy's help, then please get in touch with him and see how he can help you leverage your business and get more clients and how to attract all of that. Andy is an expert there. Thank you, Andy.
Thank
So,
you.
before we end the podcast, if you had to sum up, what's the biggest missed opportunity healthcare professionals have on LinkedIn right now?
Okay. I think the missed opportunity is not sharing enough expertise and those real insights of how you've helped someone or helped a service improve, change for the better, or even to sharing some of those things that have gone wrong along the way and how we then turn those things around. Think of it like an audit cycle, and what's the problem here? How did we solve it? What can we do better next time so it doesn't happen again? And then we repeat it. That sort of content is like gold dust. That's the things that people will remember you for, how it made them feel. Because at the moment, I think that what the majority of people that I see from the healthcare industry on LinkedIn will think share things like, I was happy to be a part of this in-service training. Okay. Or celebrating a milestone or a repost from someone else's account. It doesn't tell me anything about you or what you do. It's just that you've attended something, and you might get a few likes for it, particularly for the celebratory posts. I've reached this anniversary. I've started this new job. Okay, and you get lots of likes for that, but what does that do? It doesn't tell me anything about what you do and how you help people. So if you want to use LinkedIn as a tool to show yourself off, to progress, to as I said, whatever it might be, if it's say looking for your next post or for hiring, whichever way around that is, show how you help someone.
Mm-hmm.
Show your thought processes behind it. These are the big opportunities. These are the things that will get you those numbers, get you those likes, get you that recognition, get people in your DMs to understand or to connect with you and DM and then understand more about you. And that those opportunities, those referrals, whatever it might be, they start appearing on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how are you going to help me? How if I was a recruiter, if I had a clinic and I'm going to hire someone, make me how do you make me feel when you show me how you've helped someone in the past? And I love those stories that go, wow, you care. You really care about what you do. You're showing me how you've thought about it. You're it's not just telling me, you're showing me. You're making me feel something. It can make me quite emotional reading stories sometimes about how
Mm-hmm.
someone who's really struggled, that you've come to their aid and you've shown how you've got about helping that person get their life back on track or back on the pitch, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Show me how you did it.
Excellent. I
Mm.
think it boils down to time, Andy,
Yes, it does.
because clicking a picture or posting something about your digital certificates it's easier as opposed
Yes,
to sitting down and writing something.
it is.
And everyone is busy.
And it's good to an extent because it shows that you're being present, that you're keeping your profile up to date. But that's almost just your starting point. It's giving you credibility. Yes, it's showing that you're keeping up to date with your CPD. That's great. But the next step, if it's not writing posts, I would leave you with commenting, finding people that are relevant to comment on,
Mm,
and start there. Oh,
mm,
sorry. Profile up to date. Yes. Comment. Get in those 10 minutes, comment on other people's posts, get into those conversations. People will connect with you on the back of it. You get impressions on your comments. That will bring people to your profile, and that's where things start to happen.
mhm. Okay. And Auntie, it was a pleasure having you. Thanks a lot for sharing every single thing that you have done so openly and honestly.
No, you're welcome. No, thank you so much. It gives me great opportunity to tell people what I do because I still feel like it's quite new. And as I say, not many people search for what I do because they don't know they need it. They do know they need to be on LinkedIn. I keep hearing that, but it never reaches top of the to-do list. So I'm
Mm,
trying to shine a big spotlight on it that gets your profile up to scratch, and that's going to show up online. If someone's going to search for you, make sure that is up to date, and then we can take it from there.
mhm. Thank you. And Andy, just to put in context about the numbers and the priority for healthcare professionals,
Mhm.
7.3 to 8 million healthcare professionals in the UK are active LinkedIn users.
There we
Okay,
go.
so it's not new to healthcare professionals. If you're thinking that people don't come on LinkedIn and if you're still stuck with your myth, then come out of it because lots of professionals, healthcare professionals, are on LinkedIn. So try to engage, show your thought leadership, and start engaging on people's posts.
And just
Thank you
before
so
you
much.
go, on the
Yeah.
back of that as well, if you're trying to reach a key person in an organization, you've got direct, if you're connected with them, you've got a direct opportunity to speak to them in their inbox, where if you go through the company or the business page, sorry, the website, you might not get to that person directly. LinkedIn is a great opportunity.
Hmm.
You connect with someone to speak to the key people and save yourself a lot of time and get yourself known and get yourself looked at again for those opportunities.
Hmm.
So yeah, the opportunities are definitely there. Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks a lot for your time.
Okay. No, thank you.